So our source, I noticed that last week was a little overwhelming for people. So this week, hang on, let me get out of the one thing I didn't do is let me pull up our source for this week. So I decided to go back to still life and also to something that's really key to watercolor painting, which isn't really true about anything else. This is our subject. Hang on, call up, come back up here. No seconds. This is going to be our subject. We're going to be talking a lot about white, the importance of white in watercolor. Also, I really want you guys to be able to continue to work on your drawing. So this, I'm going to have you grid this. I am not going to grid it, but I'm going to have you guys grid it. So you should all have it on the WhatsApp thread. Hold on, I'm going to send it off again right now. Nope, wait. November 5th, blocks of the art. Here we are. All right, so you should all have it right now on the WhatsApp thread. And we're here on Leah Demo. So let's see. I will get this set up. And I've been working a lot on my setup and the view and all of those things. So things should be better now. Hang on here. Okay, everybody should be able to see this fairly well. So this is the color version of what we're going to do. Of course, as usual, we're going to start with the black and white. And those of you who are working in pencil or charcoal or some other, or if you want to work on your own colors for this and you don't want to use the sort of typical colors, I'm going to have you, there we go. There we go. Just want to make sure this, oh, I see. This way. So we're going to start, for those of you who are new, who might be using a pencil. Actually, everyone's going to be using a pencil for this one because you're all going to be gridding. So I'm going to have you start by gridding your watercolor paper or your regular paper while I grid your source. So to remind you how to do that, if you don't have a ruler, you're going to take your paper, your plain piece of paper, and fold it in half once, twice, 3, 4 times. You can really probably only do this with drawing paper. You aren't going to be able to do this with watercolor paper. You're going to need a ruler for your watercolor paper. But if you don't have a ruler and you're just working with a pencil and paper, you can honestly just fold that 4 times and you'll notice when you open it that it's divided into 16 equal squares. So if you're going to be gridding with a ruler, you can use either centimeters or inches. I am measuring the bottom half of this paper, the bottom edge, and this is 11 inches. So the halfway point is 5.5. So I'm marking the halfway point on the top, and I'm marking the halfway point on the bottom, making sure I'm lining my ruler up. How's this, Jean? Is this better visually?
Much better, yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm so glad we talked about it. And then I'm going to line up my ruler between those 2 points. And that is fold number 1, my friends. This one, the short side, we're going to do the same thing. That's 8.5, so 4.25. Is the halfway point, or centimeters. Centimeters is often easier to use. I go back and forth between centimeters and inches. This particular ruler only has inches. So, all right. 8.5. I'm just trying to get these things. There we go. See, I'm spending a fair amount of time actually situating my paper. A lot of the time people don't do that, and then your measurements are wrong and you're wondering. So there were a lot of places where this could have gone wrong. There we go. So you can go ahead and do this with your pencil on your paper, right? That's fold number 2. And then of course, we're gonna find the halfway points between each half. So this is 5.5, so 2.775 is the halfway point. And I'm just gonna go all the way around before I draw in lines. Oh, there we go. 5. And on the edge here, the small edge, it's 4.25 is the half, so 2.2 basically, if you're working in inches. Sometimes you have to reposition your thing up here. 11, so 5.0 is 2.75 here. 2.75 here. Problem with pinning things up is I'm using that clip. 2.2 here. So notice I am taking my time to do this. I want to make sure I do it right. When you're sloppy and quick, too quick, you lose things. So we're going to start with this. And I'm going to take a picture of this in a second when I've got it drawn out, your lines. All right, excellent. So your paper should look like this. Flip this over, and then remember, as usual, I'm going to sketch out our first lines that we draw in red. Now I want you guys to pay close attention to the mouth of this jar. All of you are going to draw it too big. I'm just telling you right now. I know what you're going to do. Don't even tell me you're not going to do it. And so, armed with that knowledge, I want you to think about how you're going to prevent that from happening. Notice also, this is not flat, it is curved. Those of you who took our perspective class, and then there's that and that. So these are going to be the first lines that you draw. I will sketch them out myself in a second. The blue ones are going to be the second lines you're going to draw. Those are the inner lines. Why do I always have you do this? Because I want you to, even though it looks kind of awkward, I want you to have a strong sense of the outer shapes of things. All right. And then the third area, which is, I'm going to do this as this kind of funky green color, are the lights and the darks and the medium tones. So those are the things I'm sketching in now, the dark and the light shapes. Really, there shouldn't be any. It's very light. So what direction is the light coming from on this painting?
Upper left.
Upper left. Well, kind of like actually straight on. Upper to, well, you're right. You're right. Upper left, right? So why is the light on the right side of the inside of the picture, if that is true? What's the rule? What's that?
Are you asking why? Because of the shadows, or the light is lighter on the left side?
No, it's not. Well, it's. I'm asking you to notice that
Because the curve.
Right, because of the. What I'm asking you to notice is the inside of the. What I'm asking you to notice is if the light is coming from the left.
Yeah.
Right. That means on the inside of a cylinder, that light is going to appear on the opposite side on the right.
Yeah.
And that is always true. That is always true. That is a rule that is always true. Let's hard to see this. Let's see if we can get that a little bit brighter. So what I'm going to do before I start drawing myself is I'm going to take a picture of this so you guys can see it and send it across. So those of you who are working in pencil can just work in pencil, do the outlines. You're going to start with the red, then go to the blue, then go to the green. And I'm pushing you guys to, when I'm pushing you on this, I'm really pushing you to understand the theories that we've been talking about in all of our classes. Okay, it's important for you to understand and not just tell me in a vague way. I want to hear in a very specific way. We've been studying rules, and so I'm going to remind you of them often. I mean, everybody can tell you that this is on the left, but very few people can say why. They can't actually explain why. And once you can explain why, it's easier to do it. So let's see. Oh, my camera doesn't even want to take anymore, but let's try this. Okay, I think that's a little easier for everybody to see. So you should be able to see the major lights and darks. There's actually a light area here on the top. So make sure you preserve that. Let me jump back into the demo. Diana, are you still working on your puppy?
Yeah,
Great.
I am.
When you send it across, can you send over the earlier versions too, if you still have them on your phone?
Yeah, I can
Wonderful. This is really, Diana's been constructing a painting all day, and it's just followed the perfect, it's been a wonderful way to follow it's been following perfectly. Sorry, when I get into right brain, it's sometimes hard for me to talk. So I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna assume you know what I'm talking about. All right. So
You were saying that I've done an underpainting and then then put on layers.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the perfect way to see how a painting is constructed, because it's not how we think. There's a base layer, right, which we've talked about. We're going to be returning to more. Thank you. So I'm not using a grid. I think I'm getting it right. If I don't, I can always go back. I'm focusing on the, oops, out that this red, this orange shape first. Right? It's funny. I'm not a drawer, really. I'm a painter, but if I don't pay attention to this stuff, I can't paint. Like my ability to paint becomes much, just not that line in. Let's see, this here. Notice how, although I'm not using my grid, I'm still kind of measuring to figure out where things are. It's really important to know where things are in relation to each other. Okay, that's the shadow. And then that comes here. I'm sorry to make you guys do a lemon again. That wasn't my intention, but I did like the whites of this picture, which is why it's a really good way. There we go.
Leah, just an FYI for your setup, because you asked us to let you know.
Yeah.
Whenever you approach the paper, your head
All right.
rocks the.
So let me get closer. If I get closer, we can't see the whole thing if it's expanded out, but I think you can still probably better. How's that? Better?
It's better. We can't see the source anymore, but.
No, you can't. So that's the problem I've got. I can't get any bigger. If I go closer, I can't get bigger, but we're working on it. You don't, I don't think everybody needs to see the source all the time. Got it. Thanks, Janet. I will take that always because we want to make sure people can see. May want to bring that out a little bit. I'm going to bring everything out. Yeah, that's good. So now I'm bringing things out a little bit. It's in pretty good shape. All right, now I'm going to start sketching out my inner areas. Notice that this lemon has probably 3 or 4 tones. If you look close, a little bit harder to see in the black and white version. The picture has a lot of things going on. Oh, yeah. So if it makes you feel better, you've got to really be careful with this picture. It is super easy to get that mouth too wide. I just put it a little bit in the wrong area. Also, there's this kind of thin little white edge here, which we can really see because it's the dark, because of the dark next to it. So I see that as kind of a shape here. Put this in a little bit so you guys can see. So you see how I basically sketched this out as this dark shape. And then I'm kind of blocking out these light shapes. I'm not bringing this all the way around. Oh, I can do this. It gets grayer down here. And then another key white area is really this edge of the picture. There are more details. So this is kind of where this is light and this is kind of a light medium. And then it sort of really gets gradually darker. And then there's this funky pattern, which is obviously reflecting something that we can't see, which is lighter. I noticed that this lines up here with this handle, not too far up or below. And this comes down. How's this, guys? Is it, Janet, is that better?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. So we're just going to be, and when we're mixing, we're going to be working on different areas too. So, and then there's a kind of a light area here. And actually, if I look really close, I can see there's kind of a light, it's kind of a medium light. This actually comes down here into the handle like this medium light area. So what's really great about this particular source, and I covered it up a little bit with my lines, but there's a light area here. Depending on how much detail you want to get into, Oh yeah, I see. And there's actually, we'll see it better when you see the. You'll see it better when we see this. You'll see there's like kind of a light area with a dark streak. It comes through. Erase that. Yeah, I actually think this is the head of the photographer taking the picture. It's my suspicion. And you can get as detailed as you want with these, the lights that are in here, or not so detailed. There's lights in here, little lights in here that kind of distinguish, like there's a kind of a light, lighter, light to medium here. Kind of depends on how far you want to go with it. How much actual white is in here? There's actually not that much. And here, it's dark. There's a little dark edge near here. And also under the lemon, let's do a little bit this way so you can see it. You see this like dark edge here? So I'm going to add it in. In fact, it's quite dark. Like this whole part of this shadow is really dark and super dark under the lemon. You can see a little bit better here, this kind of light. There's a light area up here, but then there's this kind of medium light here surrounded by other things. And then you get to decide like how much detail you want to get into. Let's see. I will add in, oops. Just going back and forth. I will add in my table. I know that this little platform doesn't go higher than my lemon. Let's see, there's another little area here. I think these lines really help to ground. This starts at the edge here. Wait. Yeah, that's not right. Here, hold on. Maybe a little bit more like that. You can use a straight edge if you want to. Yeah, there we go. I think that's pretty good.
Almost no.
How long has it been since any of them were kittens, Jean?
A long time.
I'm going to take a picture of this so you guys can see it. Let us.
Could you send us a picture of the grid?
Oh, I thought I had. Did I not do that? I'm sorry. My bad. Yes.
Oh, no, I did.
I thought I did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold on. That's okay. I get it. This is my third class of the week and second class of the. Hold on.
Or is it for you to have the classes, 2 classes on the same day?
Well, I have been doing that for a while. It's only recently that I stopped. So actually, I like it. It keeps me focused on the teaching.
Oh, good.
And then I can paint. I do a little painting on a day like today, but not so much. So I think about organizing, and I'm aware of like what is happening. I don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel, So I like it. I think it works better. I mean, it's true that more classes may be added just depending on how many more companies join us, but yeah, I like it. But the art, as you know, the art zone is different from, there's a connection to the teaching zone, but it can sometimes be hard when you're in painting, when you're kind of in a painting mode to find the words to speak, which is interesting. I don't know. I like it mostly. I like it. And I like, now that we're starting to figure out that, now I'm starting to figure out the angles that are good to see. Okay. I know we can't entirely, I wonder, oh, you know what we can do? I can probably do this. Maybe I can just go down a little bit. At least we can see the colors a little bit here. Like that. We'll see how well this works. I know you're looking down a little bit, but so you guys go ahead and get into the drawing. I'm not going to look at the drawing yet. I want you to get there before we start color mixing. And for those of you, of course, who are doing this in pencil, you're just going to be working with these blacks and whites and trying to get them in. Is anybody doing something? I know Jessica's probably working on her own thing, and I know Diana's working on her own thing. Ladies, you should feel free to send this across the thread as you're working. Anybody else, everybody else doing the assignment, or is anybody doing something different?
I'm debating.
Okay, what are you thinking about?
Huh?
What are you thinking about
I
doing?
just want to go back to the drawing I was working on today.
Well, do that. You can watch, how about this, Janet? You kind of watch and listen
Yeah.
while you're working on your drawing, and then you can go back to the video if you want to.
I could just apply this lesson to something. Yeah.
I would do, I think for the long haul, if you want this to work for you, it's better to like, and Janet, you and I might have actually done this. I feel like does it look familiar to you?
No,
Okay.
I've never done watercolor.
That's right. I guess that's a fairly new thing. All right, so then I can put this up here. Yeah, it's all.
Leah?
Yeah.
How did you do that? The back left corner. Now you put your paint box over it.
This?
No, the back left corner.
Oh, the back left corner.
The table corner.
Just like that.
Okay.
Like that. Oh, I forgot to add this part on here. So this is obviously like sitting on a cutting board. There we go. How many of you are using a grid? How many of you are trying to eyeball it? It would be no shame in you using a grid for this one. There's a lot of places that one could trip up. And we're ready. All right. Yeah. One more clip. Hang on. By the way, while you guys are working on your drawing, I have to remember to tell you this because I sometimes get so focused on instructing and on what you don't know, I forget to tell you how tremendously everybody is doing in these classes. I am rather blown away. Did you guys see the post I just made on Facebook and Instagram of the pastel classes that we did this morning and yesterday and Sunday? Did you see them?
Yep.
They are incredible. Like the work, like and I'd say, Diana, wouldn't it be true that almost none of those people had ever done a pastel in their lives?
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone had. Yeah,
I want to really give you guys credit. You continue to blow this out of the water. Like you continue to blow these assignments. And I know people struggle. and I'm pushing people to do like really, you know, I'm pushing people, I know that, but you do so well that it's kind of like, I'm in, like, I'm
No,
so
I think
proud.
people really enjoy it. I know both Claudia and Annika had so much fun.
Oh yeah, I think everybody did. Look at Anuja. Did you see? I mean, Anuja was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Before I start going, no, 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 not right, not right, not right, not right, not right. I want you guys to know that your progress blows my mind every class. Like every class, at the end of the class, my mind is blown at how good you all are. So before I get into the other stuff, I just wanted to remind you that you're awesome. You're doing incredibly well. It's amazing. Oh, and Hermes has some yellow pastel on his fur. Kitty, he's bored.
He is an artist cat, isn't he?
He is. He's a studio cat for sure.
My cat is sleeping behind me.
Aw. She is too. She's an artist cat too. Their job is to keep us company in the studio.
To keep us sane.
Mm-hmm. So when you guys are ready to talk about color mixing, you tell me. When you've got your sketch in, I am going to clean up my, as usual, I'm taking a paper towel, my blankie, and cleaning up my palette from our last lesson. I can start out fresh. I love this little, it's funny, I've got a big giant palette and I just never use it. I love this little palette. It feels so controllable to me.
I'm using the palette paper. I find that so convenient. Just throw it away when you're done.
What's that? Yes, you can put it away and it's small and it's like, I know where the colors go. So you can, I don't know if you can see this here. Sometimes I'll rinse it out. I'll run it through the water because things are starting to get kind of dark. In fact, maybe I will do that right now while you guys are still drawing. Up a little.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's nice. Time are we at? 3:44. Okay, in about 3 or 4 minutes, I'll start mixing. Talking about mixing, because I think this is the most challenging part for people. There's going to be two challenging things about this assignment. One is that you're going to struggle. This is all grays and lights. So you're going to struggle. You're going to go too dark. So once again, I'm going to tell you what the mistake you're going to make before you make it. if there's going to be a tendency to want to go make these things too dark. And the other thing that's going to happen is, like color mixing is hard. So you're going to struggle to get the right colors. So I've got, so that you can see down here, I've got my water, my favorite brush, which I talk about ad nauseum. I'm going to wait to look at the drawings until after I've done some color mixing and some painting, so you guys can get going.
So what colors will we be using, just so I can have the right tubes out?
Let's take a look. You're going to need some yellows for sure, and probably some cadmium red, and some burnt sienna. And you're going to need a little bit of ultramarine blue. And you might need quinacridone red, or permanent red or rose. What else are we going to need? I think that's it for now. Essentially, we're going to be mixing a lot of grays. Oh, and this is a very yellow toned photocopy. Your grays can be cooler than this if you want to. They don't have to be this warm toned.
Are we using white at all, or we're just gonna melt down the colors?
We'll probably just melt down the colors and leave the whites unpainted. Good questions, thank you. Really good questions. So any area that's like super white, like half of America, no, sorry. Like, don't mind my bitter heart. You want to kind of clean up even from pencil lines if you possibly can. Gosh, you know what? I think even I made this mouth too big, so I'm going to pull it up a little bit. Go figure. So if I've done it, you probably have too. Okay, so let's start talking about color mixing. So many of the colors of this vase there's a few areas that are fairly light, and I would just not put any paint on for the moment. She might decide later on to do it. Like all watercolors, we're going to be preserving our whites. So that's up here. That is, I'd say on this side for the moment, preserve this and this little lip here. And up here, there's a little light area that I would not put any color. Almost everything else in here is color, has color, but it's like shades of gray, right? The only really, really super light areas, even this area, which is light, is not like so light as to be totally white, I don't think. So when we're working on these colors, we're going to be, when we're working with grays, what do you remember? Does anybody remember anything about color mixing grays? How do you mix a gray? What's the basic rule of mixing grays? Anybody remember? It involves complementary colors.
Yeah.
So how do you mix gray?
You mix the opposite color from the color wheel.
Right, you mix the complementary colors, right? So what are the three complementary color pairings? Three pairings, what are they? Okay, this is what you need to know. They are red and green.
Yeah.
They are blue and orange. They are purple and yellow. Please, if you don't know these, write these down. This you should memorize. This you should know. Complementary color pairings, purple and yellow, red and green, blue and orange. Because everything you need to know about color is connected to knowing these colors that are on the opposite side of the color wheel. So if I want to mix a gray of any kind, I need to mix a complement. I need to mix complements together. If I want to make them pop forward, I put the complements next to each other. That's why you will often see sports teams with purple and yellow, blue and orange, or red and green. Well, not so much red and green. Red and green is really Christmas colors, right? But when you put those things next to each other, they really boom, jump forward. They come towards you. And when you mix them together, they kind of neutralize and push back a little bit. And as we know, there are a lot of like colors. So I see we might try when we're mixing a gray. So we're going to start by mixing kind of shadow colors, the darker colors here, so that we can establish them as the baseline. Really, and this area is the darkest, as far as I can tell. Yep, nothing else really gets darker than here. So I'm going to start by mixing, let's try mixing a yellow with a purple. I happen to have a purple here. I've got a dioxazine purple. So if you have purple, that'd be great. If you don't have purple, you'll start by mixing blue and red to make a purple. And then you'll add yellow to that. Ah, yes. If I have too much red, I'll need to add a little bit more blue. Oh, and that gets too green. Wait, you guys can't see this. Sorry. Actually, I'll mix down here. It's easier to see. So I've got a little purple here. This is a dark color, so I want a lot of purple. I'll try this warm yellow, this cadmium yellow. Oh, interesting. More dark. A little bit more yellow. Let's see how this looks. It's kind of a green color. I'm not sure I like it, so I'm going to try a different mix. I'm going to try mixing a blue. Oh, and I got to see I need a little bit more of this. Burnt sienna and burnt umber can really work as either red or orange. They've got a little bit of both in them. So I'm going to try mixing a little bit of blue with burnt sienna. Oh yeah, now that's the kind of dark I'm talking about. I like that. It's beautiful. Can you guys see it down here? See how I'm testing down on my part of the paper? That's not, I like burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. So when I go in here under the lemon, oops, and if it's looking a little bit brown, not blue, I can pull in a little bit more brown. If it's looking brown, I can put in a little bit more blue. I like it. But you could have a different opinion. You could decide you like that sort of greeny blue of the purple and the yellow. Okay, and really that's about as dark as it goes. I guess if we want to, we can also go under the pot from here, here, and that's it. So nothing gets darker than this. And most things are going to be lighter. So I'm lightening, after I get that mix, I'm going to lighten it significantly with water. I'm dipping my brush in the water and then back in that mix. And I'm pulling that shadow forward. Huh. There's another, by the way, you have another option besides blue and orange. You could try a red and green mix. So just for kicks, let's do it. This is Viridian green. All right, so if you don't have, I didn't say Viridian green. If you've got it, use Viridian green. And here is quinacridone red, green and red. And that's an also, they all make different kinds of grays. Very interesting. I might actually like that one better. It looks more sort of classic gray, kind of your pure gray. Or I may decide I want to stick with more of it. So you have options here when you're mixing your grays. But every color that goes into this is going to be some mix of gray. And then you're going to start it out darker, and then you can mix it lighter. So yeah. Even lighter here. So nothing gets darker than that, right? And nothing. So if you don't like this greeny, I kind of like it, but if you don't like this greeny, do I really like it? Let me try. Red and green. Maybe the red and green I like better. I don't know. Notice if your gray is kind of tinted to, if it looks too colored in one way or the other, too red, too green, just put a little bit of the opposite into it. Test it. You can test it always. Oh yeah, that's nice. I think I like that better. So nothing, so all of your darks and your the rest of it is all going to be, so I lay down the darks so that I know what my baseline is for everything else. It's turning out a lot cooler than I thought it would. So when I start working on my picture, everything's going to be lighter than this. So I'm still mixing grays. I'll let you guys catch up a little bit. Anybody enjoying this? Anybody finding a gray they particularly like? You do not have to stick with the grays I'm going with, by the way. Totally don't. If you look here on our colors, on our black and white study, I'll take this out. Oops, got some paint on it. See pretty clearly, I'm going to cover this up for just a second so I can make my point, that this dark is lighter than this dark, right? This is kind of a dark medium. So everything that happens in here, maybe this is closer to the same, but still this is going to be a touch lighter. So how do we make sure that you don't go too dark? You're going to be testing on here. You're going to be using a lot of water on a different piece of paper or connected to the same piece of paper like I've got going here. My water's getting pretty gray. Yeah. Okay. As well, it's pretty dark here, but it's not as dark as it is down here. At least I wouldn't start it that way. So I'm trying to decide what gray I like the best. I like the gray that comes from mixing blue and orange. It's a very greeny gray. I like the gray that comes from mixing Viridian green and quinacridone red. You could also try alizarin crimson, that would work too. And I kind of like that better, but it's so cool. It goes against my grain of wanting to be cool. I wonder what would happen if I mix cadmium red and Viridian. So I'm playing around with all these different grays that I could be making. I don't expect your gray to look like mine, and that's a, you know, I want to give you options there. I'm just kind of trying to decide which one I want, which one I'm liking. And in a little ways, gray is blending with the other grays I've got going, which is not always bad. I like that. When I make it warmer, mine's seeming to go green. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go on to the next step. So I'm mixing, kind of decided on a Viridian green, cadmium red, gray. Yeah, I think that's what I like. And I'm testing before I go on here because I want to make sure that I don't go too dark. So I'm now going into like the side here. Oh, I hope I didn't go too dark. If I went too dark, I have my blankie. I can grab that back. I'm holding my blankie. So even the trick is you're going to lay it down, but it's going to be a lot lighter than you feel. I can even get that color in up here. Although it's darker up here, I can start with like that dark and see how much I need to go. I'm coming back in here and kind of picking up a little bit of the paint and then drifting it into my water container. So once again, I'm building up my darks slowly. If I lay it down here, you can really see that this is dark, but it's lighter than here. This is lighter than this shadow. And also push my shadow a little bit darker. So I'm seeing this outer shape here. And I'm also letting my pencil lines give me a little bit of structure to this base as well. And I'm going to leave this edge totally unpainted for the moment. And also this area in here. I haven't quite got that. There is one little line of dark. Here, I could put that in. And as I move to the back, it gets slightly darker. I'm kind of preserving this area because I think I might, well, I don't know, am I really? I'm gonna take that kind of, I'm gonna push my darks darker. So, that's funny, I painted this many times. I've used this example because I really like it for the lights, but it's never turned out like this before. Interesting, my color choices must be changing. So you see how I've got this? I guess in reality, there's a little flip like this happening. you may be going with a totally different kind of gray. You might be going with like purple and yellow. Totally okay. Oh, now you're sleeping. Finally sleeping. Well, I'm kind of waiting to decide what to do with the rest of this. I'm going to have a kind of, I'm going to do a little, I'm going to do the tabletop, which to me really looks like burnt sienna with a touch, just a teeny touch of purple or blue. Not a lot. It's mostly burnt sienna. A teeny touch of blue. Let's see. Do I like that? Yeah. So, and maybe in a couple of places, just a little burnt sienna on its own. Oh, that's pretty dark. Let me get my blankie. So notice how easy it is to get way dark, too dark. We get excited by color. Oh my God, you should have seen the pastel class today. People were so excited by color, which is great. I don't mean it, but in something like this, the color is, we'll get to the colorful part, which is really the lemon soon. Now I'm mixing a touch of red into my, yes. So I wanted this to be a little bit warmer. So I'm mixing a little cadmium red in with my burnt sienna. And I'm not using green now. I'm just kind of using brown. It's all gonna work, or is it gonna just look lucky? I don't know. I'm also trying to get my brush strokes to kind of mimic the direction that the table is going, which is this way. So I'm trying not to do this thing. In this particular case, our brush work is really, and of course you could have also, if you wanted to take more time, you could have also completely added in some of these grains with your pencil. I don't really think we have, you know, for me, I don't think it's worth it for you guys to watch me do that, but you could. But let's be simple. Whoa, that's way too dark. That's still a little dark. More water. It's amazing. Yeah, so I like this warmer color. So what I wound up with here was burnt sienna and a little cadmium red and no gray, no like neutral, no complement. I wanted something to be a little bit warmer. I have noticed that this area has gotten a little bit lighter and I want to darken it. So I'm going to go back and I have all of this color kind of pooling from my gray mixes. I think I can go back in and darken. Oops, I want to be careful not to go too dark. So more water. And notice I'm kind of staying away from this whole back end because that is a lot lighter. Is there any other areas? No. Okay. I'm going to want to go in and paint this too, but lighter than what's happening here because it's distinctly lighter. So I'm going back in with the mix I used to paint this and really lightening that. Let's see, can I pull it? Nope, too dark. So notice how often I'm having to, if you see me making this mistake, I swear to God, you're gonna make it too. So notice how easy it is. I'm just going straight in my water, which is gray. And I'm gonna go back out here, it's slightly darker, but not too dark. To darken around the edges. But I don't want to get too dark, right? That's a little bit too dark. So this is a game I'm playing of light, medium, and dark. Yeah, there we go. So you see I laid in, once I laid in that later version, I can push the dark here a little bit more. But I'm still being careful that it's not as dark as what's happening here. And it's a little bit darker, by the way, on this right edge than it is on the left, because this demarcates where the picture turns around. The teacher who trained me would be totally on me. I know, in watercolor, he would never let me use a paper towel. Never, no blankie.
What?
Well, that's silly, Leah. Everybody
Yes.
needs a painting blankie.
Right?
Yes.
But I loved working with that one just because of the challenge of it. You know, he never used one, interestingly.
Well,
So, I don't know
fabulous
what-
for him. The
Yeah.
rest of us mere mortals need blankies.
Totally. So see how I'm starting to kind of push my darks up and around. So maybe now is the time. Yeah, I feel like, and this will come to here. Up to there. There. Nice. If I want to like create a little bit of dynamism, I might take some purple and yellow to make some different kind of gray to kind of add to my gray here. Oh yeah, I like that. So I'm just putting that right in on top. So that your gray has different tones to it. Oh, that's really pretty. The challenge is not to. So I just mixed purple and yellow together and put that on top of my gray, which I wasn't quite, yeah, so I think I usually do this in purples and yellows. This looks more familiar to me than these colors that I picked this time. Interesting. That is what we're going to use for the, that's what we're going to use for the lemon, so. Is anybody enjoying this? It's kind of fun, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all grays. There's no, it's funny, compared to the class that we did this morning, right? This is just all, which was all vibrant, crazy. We copied a Matisse, so it's very vibrant color. This is very mild. I like how this sort of, I love the strokes of watercolor. They're so pretty. So let's work on, so go ahead and work on your vase for a little bit. Does anybody want me to look at theirs, or do you want to finish first the demo, which will happen in the next 10 minutes, I think, and then I can start looking. It's up to you.
Well, while you've been demonstrating, Trump has declared victory.
Of
Yeah,
course he has. Doesn't mean anything.
it doesn't mean anything.
Now I know.
Jesus. Have we gotten Nevada yet? Have we got any final numbers for anything else?
Nevada won't be till Saturday at the earliest.
How can he possibly declare victory? He's behind. In
Yeah.
electoral
Oh,
votes.
but it's all the illegal votes that's making them.
Oh, fuck.
He's Trump.
Right.
Sorry.
You didn't get that, huh?
Ah, so annoying. But as expected.
We're gonna keep calm and paint.
Yes. That's right. Because Reuters has already paid, right, Jean? Reuters has already paid their bill for 2021. So we have until the end of 2021, we have art. We have so much art to do.
Good.
Geez, can you imagine our student show next year? It's going to be insane. I should start a gallery.
Everybody at Refinitiv really loved it. It went around, it did the global pass. Everyone was very
I think,
impressed.
Jessica, that was and thank you, because your work really, really pushed that. I think that was the thing that got them to consider it.
Has Alex been in touch with you?
No, but I'm not expecting him to now, right? It's probably
Okay.
really crazy, but no.
Yeah,
but,
it's pretty insane.
Yeah. But I think you got good. I might send him a note if I don't hear from him in like 2 weeks, in the next week or two.
Yeah.
But I think it would be really neat. But I am doing 2 test lessons with BuzzFeed next
cool.
2 weeks from now. So they're pretty keen, and I think they would like to join us if
That's
the classes
amazing.
go well. Yeah, isn't that neat? And then I'm talking with, actually, this is really cool. The Open Society Institute, the George Soros Foundation, their journalism program also is interested. There's about 21 people in their group. So they are also interested. I don't know if they'll ultimately be interested in joining us or maybe just doing a few lessons on their own. I used to work for them. I was a journalist trainer for them for many years. So 5 years. So we realized we knew all the same people. These are all reg contacts. And then I realized, holy shit, I know everybody, but I used to work for you. So really nice. So they may be joining. I don't like to say, right, because we don't know. People can change their mind all the time, and Refinitiv has shown some interest in 1 or 2 others. So,
but I'm glad we secured for next year as well.
Well, the press club hasn't yet, but we will talk.
But
I know you're good for it. So you're in.
Somehow.
I don't need to negotiate. Right. I don't need to negotiate with you guys. We will talk about something. But yes, absolutely. It's nice that Reuters is in, and it's good that other people can come in too, because I think it'll like freshen up the group a little bit.
Are you saying we're stale?
No, not at all.
Possibly saying that.
Not at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm more saying it's interesting to me that with the number of people at Reuters that we didn't fill these classes. That's what's kind of interesting to me, that we have there's so many people in the company, and we have about 100 people who take classes. I'd say 130 people maybe who dedicated classes. That surprised me.
That people schedule, they would mean to, and then they'd get a story and it was going crazy,
Right. That's part of it. But I also think that's just true all the time. Right. So I think that I just think there's less dedicated people to the art thing than we think, right, in a big group. I'd love to see if I could figure out a percentage. Like if your company had 500 people, will we have 10 who do this regularly, right? If your company has, how many people work for Reuters?
No, globally?
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Thousands? Hundreds?
No, it's thousands. For
I would
all of
think-
Thomson Reuters or just Reuters?
Just Reuters.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
That I don't-
thousands, Jean? 1,000?
Yeah.
I mean,
A
we
couple
have
dozen.
1,000 members, and you see how many you get.
So 1,000 employees, and I'd say 10% show up. So there you go. There's the number. 10% is a high number, actually, when I think about it. Okay. So let's go on to talk a little bit about the lemon. I'm going to clean up my brush water, actually, because it's pretty messy. You may want to do the same.
Okay, I sent you my doggy.
Right. I have clean brush water. Oops, There we go. And we did a lemon, so you guys will remember there's some grays in the lemons, but less so. So for the lemon, you're definitely going to want some cadmium red, some cadmium yellow, and then some purple. And if you don't have purple, you'll mix ultramarine blue and quinacridone red, or you can experiment with other reds if you want to, but I have purple here. So although we know that this lemon is kind of an orangey color, it is really orangey, right? It's down here and on the side, this is the shadow side of the lemon that we can see. So there's always a little bit of the complement in. So I'm going to start by mixing yellow. I'm pulling, this is cadmium yellow. So this is a kind of warm yellow. And then I'm pulling in just a touch of purple, not too much, a little bit. And then I'm going to pull in a touch of cad red, create a sort of orangey color. And then maybe a touch more purple. We'll see how this looks. Oh yeah, I like that color. Oh wait, here, you can't see it. I kind of like this color. It's a sort of muted marigold. That's really pretty. So this is, once again, cad yellow, a little cad red, and a touch of purple. Not very much. Not as much as you wanted to use down here. And then I'm going for the darkest areas here first. Let's see, is that it? This is looking a lot greener than it actually is, so I will take a picture. This is why it's good that we have the WhatsApp thread, because you can't really see. And it's kind of darker around these edges. And then like you want a little bit more red and a touch more purple. Yeah. I even ended up with a little bit more red. So I'm going around this spot here. So I'm ignoring this area up here and I'm going around this spot here, right? And then when I get here, I'm going to water down my brush. I'm going to take some of this color and I'm going to pull a little bit of lemon yellow. Oh, that was too much lemon yellow. Way too much. Let's see here. Yes. I'm going to water it down quite a bit. I want this to read as lighter. So I took a little bit of the cadmium yellow. Oh yeah, that works out pretty nicely. I may have to go back in a little bit more of my darker purple around the edge, but so see, I might have to come back in a little bit with darker here. So I'll review that again. And then up here, it's kind of straight lemon yellow. With no, so up here, about there. And I'm just gonna let this brush, so what I'm gonna do actually, and then I'm gonna make my brush very light, kind of extending that yellow down. Oh, I'm having a little dripping problem. Go. And then to really push this, I'm going to go with straight burnt sienna, paint around the edge of the light. Oh, I know that's really dark here. I put some water on the brush so it kind of lightens out. So I'm darkening my background a little bit. And I could do the same thing here, kind of working around the edge of the lemon, so that my lemon is showing up as, you notice before I did that, my lemon wasn't really popping forward. So I darkened out my edge so this light area will show up more. I'm going to do the same here. Oh yeah, that's looking kind of nice. I guess I can darken up here too. Now I'm just going in with straight burnt sienna, no grays. kind of going straight. So that's kind of jaunty and warm. I'm liking these warm. This is interesting. This is very different than my normal color picks. I think Luigi Loire, the French painter, who I'm totally in love with right now, is really affecting me because I can feel how much I'm more gravitating towards neutrals and grays, much more than I used to. And then I'm going to give you leeway on what you do with the rest of the painting. Wow, what's going on there? It's interesting. I'm going to give you leeway on what you do with the rest of the painting. If you want to, you can. If you want to be kind of quick about it, maybe a little burnt sienna wash over the, well, it's kind of pinker. I'm mixing quinacridone red and alizarin, and burnt sienna. Let's see what happens there. Kind of this rosy color. You're going to want it over the edge of your picture so you can see the lights on the top. But you could also decide to make this a different color. You can make this any color you wanted. I'm not going to, I think I want you to play with the color choices, right? So I'll start looking. Now we've got about a half an hour left. So this is a good time for me to start looking. And I'm sorry, you guys, the watercolor demos do take a little longer. I don't know why, maybe because I don't do watercolor as much as other things, or just because that's the nature of watercolor.
It looks lovely though.
I like it too. It is neat, isn't it? And I got to tell you, I'm surprised by how this looks. That's not what I was expecting. So, like, it's funny. I'm using the principles in the same way, but my color choices are being affected by what I'm interested in right now. And you're going to find the same thing, I'm sure. Just kind of fun. So I might just leave this white for the moment. So let me take a picture of this. And then I want you guys, I'm going to take a picture so you can see a better version of it. And whatever you're working on, send it over.
Yeah, I sent over my doggy, even
Oh,
though.
great, great. Oh, wonderful. And Diana, he's so great. You've done a lot with the nose in this section. Nice job. Seriously. Wonderful. Wonderful job.
Let's hope my friend thinks that.
I'm sure.
Unfortunately, she has two dogs, so I have to do another one after this.
This is good. It's good to have things to keep it going. I mean, you'll probably notice most people don't really are not that discriminating when it comes to art. They respond to certain things. They respond to subjects. They respond to colors. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, have you noticed that?
Oh, I'll just be mean and say it. No, most people have no taste whatsoever. And
Right.
horrible sense of aesthetics. I'll say it.
Right. Ow. I was just going to say they like what people respond to is kind of, yes, like, you know, there's certain subjects. What were we talking about the other day? Diana was painting a kitten the other day who was black. And she ended up using a lot of blue in the black. And I was talking about how, there we go. So yeah, that's pretty good. I was using a lot of blue in the black, and I was talking about how crows are very popular. So crows are huge. You paint a crow, you will totally sell it. Bunnies, very popular. You paint a bunny, you will sell it. You know, standard landscape, very popular.
Leah?
Yeah.
You ever go in and erase pencil marks afterwards?
You
Like
can,
when
if you can, yeah, totally. If you feel like it's too dark, yes. Try in the light areas, totally. I could do more with this lemon, I feel like. the lemon could get a little bit darker. Let me pop into Zoom again. I might work on the lemon just a little bit more. but I do want to look. Oh, Diana, puppy's just looking great. Great job.
Thank you.
You better be careful. Lots of people are gonna want one. They are, they are.
Yeah, I have a few on the waiting list now.
Yeah, yep.
But it's good. I have something when I don't have an idea of my own. I have something.
It's helpful to have somebody else to, yes, I agree. I usually have a waiting list. I do right now as well as normal of commissions. I try to sort of limit it to 1 or 2 a month. It's nice to have the guaranteed income, but you don't want to have that take up all of the time that you're doing. So, but it is good. It provides structure.
But it's different for me. For me, it's just a hobby. So.
Yeah, but it's the same idea that like, it helps to provide structure.
Yeah.
You don't have ideas, right? It helps to like work on somebody else's idea. I mean, because you learn from everything.
Yep.
It's wonderful. All right, let's see, get me back into. Jump back in here. I'll do it again. Let's see.
This keeps happening.
Oh, hi, Ink. Hi,
He wants to be on my
Inkling.
lap.
He wants to do the thing. Oh, your background, Jean, is really vibrant and pretty right now. I like all the plants and the reds and the greens. See, you're using red and green very effectively. There. Okay. It's interesting. Maybe it's just because it's getting dark. So I was feeling like my lemon, when I stood back and looked at it, didn't have enough differentiation here. So I'm going to go a little bit darker, get a little bolder. Oh, nope, that was too dark. Too much red. Getting too excited. More orange, touch of purple.
My lemon got too wet and it got congealy. What do I do about that? When you see it, you'll see it.
Can you scrub it out a little bit?
I
Can you
tried.
scrub your paper towel? So there we go. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm kind of painting it a little bit darker so that this spot comes out a little bit more. I wanted this lemon to be a little bit, and I can also blend. So you can blend in watercolor a little bit like how you blend. So I can make that, of course, I'm just going back in and making it darker again. What I really want is to kind of blend up into here, so that there it is. I like that a little bit better. Okay, I'll put it brighter up here too. It's interesting how the different yellows look. And there's a little light yellow edge I noticed on this side, on the bottom edge of the lemon. So I'm going to try and add that in. And I'm going to darken, I'm going to sort of point it out by making it darker next to it. There we go. Yeah, does So it's interesting. This lemon is darker, particularly down here. What do you think? That's a little bit better. And I also might darken, I might go back in and do a little bit of darkening. Down here. Darken that shadow a little bit again. Try it a little bit. Not all the way out, but yeah, I like that a little bit more. What I like about darkening this shadow is that it really pushes, the shadow of the lemon is that it pushes the side of the white side of the picture forward a little bit. As here, so. Might darken. Wow. Let's darken the shadows. So we started in this case with the dark areas because we had to. We had to get our darks in. Oh yeah, now that's starting to look a little bit better. So I just kept going in with more sort of darker red and orange, but leaving this patch kind of lighter. You know, I guess technically I could do the same thing here. I could go in and maybe slightly darken what's happening here just a little bit. Here I'm almost dry brushing. Yeah, that didn't hurt. Once again, I could go back in and darken. What I'm really doing right now is kind of looking at where my edges are a little bit weak. So, you know, watercolor can be kind of weak in areas. So what I'm trying to do is push where the darkest areas meet the lightest areas. I'm pushing them a little bit darker. It's really dark. Pull that back a little bit. Remember also that stuff will dry a little bit lighter. Maybe here too. Yeah.
Okay, I sent it. I think I got the lemon mostly fixed except for the cat hair in it.
Hold on, let me take a look. Oh my God, we've gone for 2 hours. This is a long time to be painting. Oh, gee, that's lovely. Very nice. I love your lemon. I would say your picture looks a little lopsided in the drawing. To strengthen the edge, I would make your background darker.
Okay.
On the wall, so that we can see, we can really distinguish the handle and the top of the, you know, the mouth of the jar, but very nice brushwork. I like it.
Okay.
Good job. Anybody else want to send theirs in? Let me see.
I'm sending, hold on.
Are you doing this?
Sure. No.
You're sending something else. Okay.
Trying to get a picture of it.
Let's say. And this is going to be this is going to be a new, this will be up in a couple of hours on the YouTube link. So I would totally recommend looking at it again. There's a lot that went into this, and I know I go kind of fast, and you guys are a little bit more advanced. Let's see, Julie. Oh, beautiful, Julie. Beautiful. Very nice. I like the texture you got on your, I love the texture, and I really think you nailed the values. Very nice. Excellent. So good. Are you happy with it? Good job. This was a challenging assignment. You guys did good.
It's been fun, but it's hard.
It is hard. It requires a lot. This is why art is relaxing. It's not because the job itself is relaxing. It's because you spend so much time focusing on it that we're not thinking about Trump claiming that he wins. So the ensuing coup, whatever. This is beautiful. I can see, and once again, I'm going to say I love your, oh, Jessica, as always.
Beautiful.
So wonderful.
Wow, the driftwood is amazing.
And you nailed the sky. I mean, the sea is beautiful, but I love the softness of those clouds. Wow. Is that Payne's Gray, Jessica, up there?
No.
What is it? Just a purple that you mix?
No, I'm just running my standard palette. It's black, ultramarine, white.
Wait, say that again. Black, ultramarine.
I use black.
Okay. Nice.
On white. That's it.
Black, ultramarine,
simple
and
palette
white.
on this.
Wonderful. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Oh. Are you familiar with the Zorn palette, Jessica?
I freaking love the Zorn palette.
I was gonna say, I feel like that is your. Do you guys know what the Zorn palette is?
Oh, I did a painting. Oh, if I can't choose my colors or if I have a limited time, Zorn is the way to go.
Zorn is the way.
This is a Zorn palette painting I did in a live session.
Send it over.
It's right here.
So the Zorn palette is basically, Andrew Zorn developed it. And it's basically red. All your colors are mixed from red, yellow,
cadmium red light. It has to be cadmium red light, yellow ochre, and ivory black. Or you can use Mars black.
Yeah. Everything is done. The Zorn palette is awesome. I've always wanted to take a class in it. I mean, yes.
Oh, you don't need to take a class in it. Just mix it up.
Yeah.
This is a life painting that I did. Pardon my really crappy apron. It's in my lap. This is a painting I did in a life drawing class. Oh, it was in the show. That one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is Zorn.
That's a Zorn. Yeah.
So you guys, all of this is done with cadmium red light.
Cadmium red light.
Ochre and
yellow
black.
Ochre
and black. Yellow
That's it.
ochre and black. Isn't that interesting? Look at how much color she's got in that.
Oh, you can
palette.
mix anything. Absolutely.
I will do better, Juliet. I will type it. This is called the Zorn palette. It's a limited palette. It is.
I'm probably going to go plein airing with it pretty soon too.
Nice. Cadmium red light.
I love that, Jessica.
Yeah. Yellow ochre.
Your puppy is so cute.
Yellow ochre. And
white, of course. You could use Mars black. I do. Whatever I have.
All right. So that's the 3 colors used for that entire painting. Looks like it has a lot of depth. Well, that's what I was thinking. It's funny. I think I was picking up on the black in your clouds, which, as you know, black is not really part of my palette. So I like it, and I just like picking up on it. That's beautiful. Wonderful.
Yeah, I use black. I use black a lot. You have to know how to use it though, is the thing. Because if you put too much black in your painting, you're gonna kill it. It'll
Yeah.
be like just dead. It's one of those things, it has a specific use, actually 2 specific uses, and then that's it.
Yeah, I don't even have a black.
You don't need one right now.
Yeah.
Go with what Leah's
Definitely,
going with.
the
'cause
Zorn palette is a pretty nuanced mixing. Your mixing has got to be like, well, not that you wouldn't be able to do it, Diana, you totally would. But yeah, I would say Diana's palette is more blues heavy. She has a lot. She used blues very effectively, and this is where you start to see differences in like the way people's work looks that I think is really fantastic. Let's see.
And
Nice, Jean. That helps.
If I need a black, I mix it from blue
Yeah.
and brown.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But that isn't, but I like, you know, I immediately noticed Jessica's clouds. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
is because I was like, what color? How did she make that color? So it's interesting to see.
But yes,
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think, Diana, you and I probably mix pretty similarly. Although I love, what I admire about yours is the blue predominance. I think that's a really strong like definition of
yeah, I
your
guess
work.
I do a lot of blues. I do.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I think that's really great. And Jessica has black in her palette and yellow and red, a lot of it. Oh, actually, this is so interesting. Just as we were talking about it, one of my artist friends, let me see if I can pull this off, posted a Zorn palette portrait on Facebook. Let's see if I can I? Oh, too bad. I can't grab it. But it's way more colorful than you'd think using just those colors. Yeah, there's just so many ways to do it. Go ahead and send it. Come on, send me what you got. You guys have got about 10 minutes left, and I'd like to see if there's anything I can do to push. Jean, I want to really commend you, by the way, on your mixing. Good mixing. I think the practice you've been doing with watercolor in the last week has really helped you start to command the mix.
Thank you.
So we'll move to more colorful things, but I think it was helpful for us to be here today.
Yesterday is the only day since October 1st that I didn't do anything art.
Janet, oh my God,
Yeah,
that's so
I was
awesome.
I
Katie
dropped
strikes
off.
again. The title of this drawing is going to be What Happened to Katie? I'm trying to
That's
decide.
awesome.
I'm trying to decide what to do with the area around the bed.
Around the bed. Oh, good question.
Okay.
Maybe it should, oh God, see, I don't know. Like, this is where you have your crazy wild things. Maybe it should have rays like a Tonka painting. Oh, Diana. Yeah. Talk about effective use of blue. Jessica, look at this. See
Yeah,
those
that's
blues
pretty,
in there?
that's pretty fantastic.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, and you used a lot of like raw sienna, which really, or whatever.
Yeah, I
burnt
do.
sienna, which
I do.
yeah, I love burnt sienna. That really plays against the blue beautifully. It's a great portrait.
Thanks.
It's a great portrait.
You know, Janet, I'm just wondering, so do you know what I mean by Tonka paintings?
No.
So Tonka paintings are those Buddhist paintings. Let me see if I can find, I don't think nobody needs, let me see if I can find one here. Hold on, pull off, go back to, let me see here if I can find something and then I'll share it. So a Tonka painting is one of those Buddhist paintings. Hold on. That's got very intricate details around the edges, and they have the, come on, QuickBooks, don't be annoying. All right. See if I can find something really quick. What? So just out of curiosity, who became the, who was the host when was it Jessica? Who was the host
What?
when I got booted off for a second because my
Oh, Jessica was the first one on, yeah.
Yep. So Jessica became the host. So
I
whoever
was
is
the host.
the first one who comes to the meeting becomes the host automatically. So usually it's Diana because she's usually the first one here.
Do I need to change your role? Did you
No.
get booted and I have to change you for something?
Nope, I'm good. As soon as I get back in, I get
Okay.
named the host again. But what happens is if
Oh,
I get
okay.
booted out, instead of ending the meeting, since I'm hosting the meeting, it just automatically passed the host to you, which I think is brilliant, actually.
Oh, I
Okay,
had no
Janet,
idea.
let me see if
Think
I
of
can
what you
find
could
this
have done with the power if you had.
I know.
Yes, she would have
It's such a missed opportunity. I could have declared myself the winner.
All right, let's see what we can find for Tonka paintings. Ah, yes. So here, Janet, I think you'll enjoy looking at these anyway. So all Buddhist monasteries have a like painting school where they teach you how to paint in this way.
I'm sure this drawing is just what they had in mind.
Well, that's why I was thinking it might be kind of. All right, so this is a pretty traditional Tonka painting. Can I get bigger here? I wonder if I can get close if I zoom up. It's got like golden rays. It's got like kind of little things around it. Here's a better one. Look at that one. See all the like devils and the lotus flowers and I know it's kind of busy. And then there's this sky above it. And right.
Is it made in ink?
No, they're painted like with oil paints, I think.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And they're very
That's
detailed.
cool.
So Tibetan monks will go to painting school and learn how to paint these for years. They have very specific things. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find a better one. Let's see. One that you can see better. That's a pretty wild one. Yeah, Janet, look at that one.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I know it's a trippy. Like even if you did a tiny minuscule version of that around the bed, you can see the golden rays. So pretty hard to paint. These little decorations. Yeah, they're extremely, that's a white Tara, I think. No, I don't know. Anyway, that's what I thought about the bed.
Oh, I could see that, Leah. Yeah, that's cool. I love it. That's wonderful.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
I love those. When I lived in Mongolia, I lived for a year in Mongolia.
Oh, wow.
Okay, how many people have ever had?
Oh no. Say that again. I missed it.
You say so often. When I lived in Mongolia.
I did. I lived at, sorry, my internet connection is unstable now. So I lived in Mongolia for a year. And I had a really good friend a British woman who was, who had managed to convince the monks in that particular monastery to admit her into the painting school. And her name was Jody, and she lived at the monastery. She had a little like affair with one of the monks, which was totally not what you were supposed to do, but it happened. They gave each other a lot of haircuts, I remember. And she would come to my place to shower because she didn't really have a great shower there. And Jody, so Jody spent a year painting Tonkas, not really because she wanted to be a Tonka painter, but she wanted to learn about them. And then she went back to London where she was from, and she signed up at the School of the School of Oriental and Asian Studies, and studied with the foremost Tonka painting expert. And she was completely disgusted because the guy knew nothing, absolutely nothing about painting, Tonka painting.
That sounds familiar.
Right?
Academics who know nothing.
Right? Like people who act like, and it tells you that there's an added value of learning to paint, because even if you don't want to be a painter who makes your living this way, you're going to learn a lot more about art and painting by doing it than you are, right? You're going to be able to evaluate a painting better by knowing how to do it. And I always loved that story of her. The last time I saw her, she was totally disgusted with SOAS and, you know, the West in general. I was just like, might as well just go. They didn't know anything, even basic things about how these things were made.
Want to hear a funny story about this drawing?
Yes.
So I worked on it for 3 hours on Saturday during our session. And I started coloring in the no trespassing tape, and it was coming out really cool. And then I realized when we got off the Zoom that I had spelled trespassing wrong.
Oh, thank you, Julia. Where did you get that? That's not hanging in your living room or anything, is it?
She must be on mute.
Juliet, yep. Would love to know, Juliet, where you found that Tonka. It's wonderful.
So Janet, you were
Yeah.
visited by Tativolis. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's the patron demon of scribes. So you know how everybody had patron saints back in the day? The monks who were doing all the manuscripts, they had a patron demon, and his name was Tativolis. This is a true thing. His name was Tativolis, and anytime you had a typo, an ink blot, anything, anything, because they're copying by name. So a monk like made him up, but they didn't want a patron saint; they want a patron demon. So if you're a scribe, you make a typo, if you're a journalist and you get a word wrong, it's Tativolis. So you have no personal responsibility for mistakes, no blame. It's Tativolis.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I discovered in the process that if you hold Bristol paper up to the window, you can actually trace it. So I traced my drawing onto a new sheet and started all over again.
Oh no.
Oh, now that's dedication.
Typo.
But you know, Janet, what's really great is that it never hurts to redo the drawing. This drawing works in the series that you're trying to build right now. So it is worth redrawing.
Yeah.
Right? Just like it's worth repainting. So that's okay. That doesn't feel like a waste of time at all, because
We're losing you, you're freezing.
Yeah, I don't think and it looks like I'm going to need to go fairly soon because it's 5 o'clock, so 8 o'clock where you guys are. So hey, this time next week, and in the morning, and on Wednesday night, if you guys want to do that. It's a little bit late for you. It's 9, but if you're up late anyway, jump into the West Coast class. Yeah, it's a lot of fun and great work today, guys, as always. Grant, feel free to send that across if you want to, or you could just send it to me if you don't want anybody, anyway, if anybody feels shy. I noticed some did not get here. To me, I'm happy. Yes, that's okay. It's okay if it mucks up. This was a really hard one. So send it over so I can take a look at it. And good to see you guys. I love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
My has died. All right. Bye, everybody.
Next week.
Yep, next week.